Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 2 now in a series between Hasu and Zenio. Game 2 taking place here on Daybreak. Now Zenio spawning on the top right hand side of the map as the blue Zerg, meanwhile Hasu spawning as the red Protoss. And Hasu, I believe he got to choose this map, and if he did, then I would be a little bit surprised. And him choosing Daybreak. I had always thought that Daybreak was perhaps more of a Zerg map early on, after seeing a whole bunch of just Infestor, Corruptor, Broodlord being played at the MSI Battlegrounds, and since that day I had always thought Zerg players really like Daybreak, but perhaps Hasu has a very specific build he wants to execute here, as he is now setting up a high ground pylon and starting to get back to work. Now that means that Hasu will have a little bit more of an economic advantage than he did in the previous game. Every minute a probe does not harvest is 40 minerals essentially lost. So that does mean that you can perhaps set up your Nexus about 5 to 7 seconds faster, or maybe even 10 seconds faster over the course of 2 to 3 minutes, and get up that fast expansion even more quickly, and perhaps be able to attack at a better and proper timing. Let's see what Hasu is going to be doing next. Is he going to perhaps be throwing down a Nexus here and then setting up a pylon on the low ground? That would be my assumption if he is trying to go for some sort of forge fast expansion. He just needs to wait until he has 16 probes, and then that may be the point when he pulls one off. Here we go. Nope. I'm still not sure. There we go. And there you have it. There goes the forge. So the forge actually being built rather close. He's going to harvest some minerals and then build that Nexus next. Now, some players often wondered, why wouldn't you use that forge as part of the wall off? Now, although that is a common tactic, what you got to remember is you got to change your strategies based upon the map. Hasu knows that Zenio knows where he is. There are only 2 spawning locations on this map, and if Zenio had decided to open up with some sort of 7 or 10 pool, then this expansion would be shut down before it even got up and running. And with that expansion being shut down that early, most likely the forge would also have been at a loss as well. By building this forge here, he semi-protects it from any early harassment, even though it's not technically part of that wall-in attempt. And we'll see how Hasu does adapt his wall-in here, setting up and using another pylon. There is one gateway, and perhaps we will see a Cybernex core here, and then another gateway here, making a rather narrow choke point here and here. Now, we do see Hasu should spot that Zenio is going for another base down here. Zenio setting up this base at about the 4-minute mark, pretty much on the dot, off by about 2 seconds, as Hasu now needs to get back with this probe. That probe currently with a little bit of a head start, and should be able to slip back home and not take any more necessary damage, as we are now going into a Cybernetics core here. Now the question will be, how will this wall off be completed, and what is Hasu going to do in order to stop all of this harassment, or to stop Zenio from being able to get all this harassment? Zenio in the previous game was able to drone up extremely quickly and pretty much also defend very nicely. Zenio getting up into the 70 to 80 drone count in just a matter of seconds. Now, what is happening here? We do see warp gate tech now being researched. Nothing happening with this probe. He's just dancing back and forth, as I still don't see what Hasu's next option is going to be. He hasn't tipped his hand. One thing to note, there is 16 probes here in the main base, and there should be 16 probes here at the natural, or will be, and then as more and more probes are added, he will then try to take that gas. Robotics facility is being thrown down now. That does make sense if he is going to be going up against a large number of roaches. So far though, Zenio hasn't tipped his hand at all at what he's trying to go for. He just has 3 queens on 3 bases. Zenio now coming in with an Overlord Suicide Scout level 1 weapons upgrade coming in as well. This Overlord also coming in inside the natural expansion. This is going to be a two base Hasu, and an important thing to note is that Hasu is still harvesting or still training up workers. That does mean that he is going to be getting beyond the necessary 16 workers per base. Yeah, he's going to be going beyond the necessary 16 workers per base before diminishing returns, which indicates to me that this is not going to be a two-base all-in. Now, Double Observer also indicates to me that this is not going to be a two-base all-in, as Immortals should be added right about now if he was trying to go up against what he expects to be Roaches. Roach Warren now coming into play. Here's that tech to tier 2 that I mentioned moments ago for Zenio. He should be able to get the Glio Reconstitution. Metabolic Boost already being researched as well. As Hasu now taking up his third base here on the top left. Now, Hasu has been pretty much playing in the dark. This is the first real time he's actually going to get insight into the base. And this hatchery is a very, very telling building. The more hatcheries that you have, the more larvae you're going to have, which is absolutely necessary to train every unit. But not all larvae are destined to equal. Some are destined to be Zerglings, while some are destined to be Broodlords and Ultralisks. Now, obviously the investment in a Zergling is significantly less than the investment in a Broodlord, meaning that you could actually have more lings very easily. That is the reason why this hatchery is being placed down. It is being placed down for the sole purpose of training additional larvae, since Zenio may not be trying to go into any tier 3 tech or any expensive tech anytime soon. We can see Queen now being trained. Missile attack, Glio Reconstitution now coming in. Additional gateways off to the north here to prevent any sort of run by. And protect all of these very, very fragile probes. Alright, Zerglings are looking to set up an attack. Roaches are here as well. Are we seeing any counter movement? Yes, we do. Hasu does have some units in position. And here we go. In comes those Zerglings. And those Zerglings quickly realize that they cannot engage there since the army was nearby. Observers still flying across the map. Zenio still with plenty of scouting information, but doesn't see this one particular observer, just gleaming information after information. So far, we're going to see this one observer make its way back off to the north. We can see also that Zenio is trying to take this center expansion here, and that means that he will be running on 4th bases. Now, Zenio had two options. He could either take this one down over here, or he can take this one right almost in the middle. Now, the one in the middle is a better launching point to start attacks, but it is also the first outpost that generally gets destroyed in any Zerg game. Alright, Overseer now trying to run away. Do the Stalkers have Blink? No, they do not. Not just quite yet. We are going into double robotics facility for perhaps double Colossi. Again, yes, we are doing exactly that. As this one Overseer, down to 23 hit points, may be able to escape death and destruction at the hands of Hasu. Zerglings looking to test that door once more. Doesn't want to really go up against the 3 Roaches. The large number of Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries in this combination. And Zenio realizes it and gets back away in time. There is still 1 Photon Cannon with 3 kills. Zerglings may perhaps try to test that front door instead. There are also gateways off over here, making it very difficult for any Zerglings to actually sneak by and deal any true damage. Zenio sitting at 165. We can see mass spine crawlers now being added on the front here. Standard response from Zerg. Once you have the drone advantage and once you have a large bank, then just sacrifice your drones to be spine crawlers. Very, very effective strategy as the main base generally starts to get mined out right about now. I am still surprised that this has not been mined out, but I do believe it to be mined out here in just a second. Colossi, Immortals, Sentries, Stalkers. Where are they all looking to go? How much damage are they looking to deal? Are they going to be able to shut down all of these Zerglings here in just a moment? I believe so, but the Colossi are actually a bit afraid of those Zerglings deciding to run back. Zenio still sitting at 196. Hasu sitting at 199. Both sides still fighting in. We are going into Zealots, making sure that there is not a base down over here. That is going to be good news for Hasu, as we now see Hasu go into the Stargate and eventually believe Fleet Beacon for the Mothership. Mothership, pretty much a standard call at this point, as the Mothership will be able to shut down at least some of those Broodlords if they stack up too much. Alright, both sides still playing a very conservative game of StarCraft 2. Both with very, very heavy supply counts could try to engage. But at any time you engage and you're at even army and your opponent just has superior position, that just feels like he has a much larger army just because all of those units are attacking at the same time. Here we have another Warp Prism now trying to drop off some kids. There is that Greater Spire. Are they going to be able to stop this here? That is going to be a key question. Zerglings now trying to make their way over, but this is actually opening up a bit of an attack by Hasu, as Hasu now going to be able to come in here. Spine Crawler, tries to disrupt this one particular Zelnaga tower so that the army is not actually spotted coming in, as we are now going into a drop in the main. Alright, Zealots up against the wall. It looks as though the spawning pool may get taken down. Spawning pool is already at half-life. Is it going to get taken down? No, I don't believe so. I believe a couple of transfusions will actually save it. And yes, it has been saved. Zerglings and Roaches now looking to flank and do a counterattack. There are a fair amount of photon cannons here. They will be able to at least do something, if not a lot. Also, the Mothership core is about to come out. It is 160 seconds to train. Not quite sure why it is not being chrono boosted out at all. Now, at this point, both players are looking to figure out who is going to make their first mistake. Hasu, now with not full saturation here in the middle of the base, knows that this is perhaps his most vulnerable location. Zerglings now coming around the far side, now heading off to the north. It looks like there is one Zealot there, and that one Zealot looking to finish off a whole sea of Zerglings as the Zealot goes to town and takes them down. Meanwhile, Stalkers clean up Zerglings alongside some Colossi, and this base was, however, destroyed. Alright, Infestor Broodlord now on the move again. Do we see enough Corruptors? Do we see any Corruptors? As Infested Terrans now simply show up to a party uninvited at the Zelnaga Tower, and all of them are now going to get taken down. Alright, there is a fungal growth. What is going to be happening next? No, they are not going to be chasing after that Overseer, as the Overseer is backing away. Down over here, there is one Warp Prism, and there are 2 Immortals in this group. The Immortals now just going to simply drop up, straight up on top of, no, going to perhaps go after the Greater Spire. Yes, they're going to go after the Greater, no, the Queen. And once the Queen gets taken down, perhaps the Greater Spire, no, going after drones instead. This is going to be 2 shots per drone, and that is a lot of workers killed. Meanwhile, back over here, Infested Terrans, Broodlords, and Photon Cannons battling it out. This Immortal, is it going to be able to shut down the Greater Spire? I do believe so. Down it goes. And now perhaps we will see a second Spire taken down as well. Alright, it looks like it may get taken down. Does it have enough juice in it to finish it off? And it looks like 2 more shots. Nope, not enough. 2 more shots from the Immortals, and that Spire would have fallen, putting things even much worse for Liquid Zenio, who is nearing at maximum supply. One Warp Prism still sitting off over here. Zergling's now going to be testing that back door. It looks as though they'll find a group of Stalkers right there. Zergling's now looking to finish off these Stalkers. Do the Stalkers have blink? Yes, they do. Able to blink back and blink forward all at the same time with different Stalkers in order to ensure that this one Nexus stays up. Alright, Zergling's now catching probes in transit. That is bad news for Hasu. Hasu now down to 192, supplied 193. He's getting in more Zealots and also getting in a Templar Archives. And the Zerglings do finish off the Nexus here. Meanwhile, a large Doom drop now happening inside the main base. Roaches and Zerglings simply swarming their way through. Hasu, it looks like he should be able to hold this. I don't see that many key tech buildings, but then again, a pylon. Every pylon counts at this point, as the Zealots need to perhaps go after some of these Roaches. Roaches are going to fall, but now we have a large attack at the front. Zenio with multiple Infested Terrans and Infestors able to shut down this base before it even got running. Colossus now arriving to the party. There is that Mothership Core acting as a cloaking field and finishing off many of the units. Stalkers now trying to make their way forward. Are they going to be able to get off some shots off? No, they are not. The main base is now pretty much cleaned up altogether. So it is now essentially 4 bases to 5. 1 mining base is not operational with a fair number of drones. This mining base, bare skeleton crew, not even 3 gas or 1 gas on this drone. Oh, sorry. Extractors down over here. Yeah, no, full gas on each of those extractors. Broodlords, Broodlings now dropping off kids. High Templar. Oh, some feedback now going down on to more and more units. We do see chain fungal growths. Is that going to be enough? There is another fungal growth finishing off the rest of the units, and all those High Templar could have been taken down. Nope, they are not. Psystorm would have made a huge difference, as we are now merging into Archons. 146 versus 187. I do not know how Hasu can get back into this unless Zenio just accidentally moves his army through Hasu's at this point. Alright, here's that next engagement. Changelings are moving forward. Mothership now backing away. We can see a good number of Archons in position trying to defend this base in the top left-hand side. Will it be enough as the Mothership Core allows all of those Stalkers to essentially not be spotted once again? Here we have it again. Nexus gonna get whittled away by Broodlings. Broodlings with nearly full upgrades, I believe. Able to deal so much damage as we are now going into another Archon. Infested Terrans now coming out. Here we have it, 3-1 upgrades. Broodlings are 3-1 upgrades as more. And who is coming out with better combat efficiency? I don't know, since this isn't Heart of the Swarm that actually keeps track of all that for me. Archons now making their way forward. Hasu with a giant death ball may actually be able to make this work, but there is also units inside his main base and inside his base off over here. Not able to really reinforce. Hasu is in serious trouble as the Zerglings now go to town on the remaining gateways that he has powered inside his natural. He only has, I believe, 5 or 6 more gateways left, and not that much of an economy left any longer, as the units are still making a move forward. Warp Prism still off here. Roach is there to guard it. Colossi slowly encroaching in more and more on this Zerg army. And this Zerg-dominated army. Infestors are just getting destroyed left and right. Stalkers are now pushing in as well. Changelings now being dropped. I don't believe it's going to matter. Hasu will be forced to give the GG here in just a second, meaning Zenio is going to pretty much take this game and take game 2 pretty quickly. All right, Mothership Core, there you go. There's the GG, well played, as Zenio takes game 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.